where we talk about the whys behind the dressing up. Come in, join us. Yeah. Hello, thank you for coming. I'm sorry my voice is going a little bit. I didn't discover the mics the first hour, so I was like screaming, trying to scream, croaking. But I will do my best. Sociology of Cosplay. Okay. Well, I'm just going to start. I did this panel, I think 3 or 4 years ago at a convention in Atlanta, and the room was full, so full that people were like standing in the aisles. And I was really shocked to realize that there was like this burning interest in the whys behind cosplay. Like apparently until me, nobody's ever done like a costume panel specifically on, you know, these social aspects about it. But I think the social aspects of cosplay is some of the most interesting factors. You know, I mean, there are so many different topics that could be discussed that are valid in why we do this, how we conduct ourselves, you know, some of the frustrations we've encountered, but also some of the great social rewards we've reaped from doing this. And also there are a lot of, I think, misunderstandings either between cosplayers and non-cosplaying anime fans, and then between cosplayers and, you know, what I like to call the muggles, the normies, you know, the people who have no idea why even a convention like this is going on. So in the next hour, I encourage all of you to raise your hand and share your stories, share your opinions. This is the one panel where I definitely ask my panelists to also talk and tell me how they feel. So, you know, I'll like guide along and sort of help talk about different topics and, you know, get the ball rolling. First of all, I'd like to ask how many of you have been cosplaying for 2 years or less? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you have been cosplaying for 5 years or more than 5 years? Okay. For 8 years and more? Okay. All right. And then I'd like to ask just a couple of you why you decided to cosplay. Why did you decide to start dressing up in costume? So feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to share your story. Okay, in the back.
It gives me an excuse. I dress like this every day if I had the excuse.
Okay, it gives you an excuse to dress up. Very good. Anybody else? Why did you decide to cosplay?
People in cosplay seem to have more fun.
One more time?
People who are in cosplay seem to have more fun.
Okay, people who wear costumes seem to have more fun. I agree wholeheartedly, yes?
For me, it's about performance art. The idea of getting to portray a character, you know, and bring that character to life.
He said that it is his, it is about the performance art, about bringing character to life. I think that's one of the reasons why most of us, at least going to an anime convention, have either dressed up or have wanted to dress up. I think every anime fan at a convention at some point has had the urge to dress up as a character. Be it their friends tell them, you really look like this character, or, ooh, we're doing this cosplay group, you should join us and do this person. Or they see a character and they relate to them so much. And I think it's very interesting that literally in all of us, we have the urge, the natural urge to dress up and be someone else, at least for a day. I thought you had your hands up? that's great. I mean, that's one of the things is like, as a cosplayer, I can't watch a show anymore. I can't watch anime anymore without analyzing the costumes. Like, I live to sort of like, I can't help it. Every scene, I'm like, how is this made? Or what is this material, you know? Or how could this actually work as a costume? And, you know, I know a lot of other cosplayers who feel the same way. It's like, cosplay is most certainly not just a hobby, it is a lifestyle. And thankfully, there's enough conventions happening around the country now that if you really wanted to make a lifestyle, you could dress up every weekend if you wanted to. And for some people like me, I have, you know, sort of made it almost my job to dress up because I have a line of products that are cosplay products, and I travel to a lot of conventions, and it's becoming my career to go to conventions. And when I go to conventions, I cosplay. That's a must. Unless I'm really tired or sick. That's happened before. I'm just like, I just can't do it, not today. But for the most part, you know, it's not really a con unless you're in a costume. So I think there are a lot of positive reasons why people cosplay and why people continue to do it. And I think it's very, very sad that, you know, it can't all be positive. I mean, how many of you have had situations like that are more negative when you've been cosplaying, you know? I mean, and I'd like to hear some of them too. Like, share a story about a not so pleasant situation you've had when you've been in costume, if you dare. I see a hand, okay?
All right. My thing would be, as an everyday catgirl furry, since I've been a catgirl since like pre-K, but I've essentially spent years trying to, I guess, learn to act more human, please my parents, I guess, a little bit. And then I recently actually like came out of the closet and I'm like, screw that, I'm gonna be furry all the time, wear my ears, everything. But since doing that, it's amusing actually, because like my group of friends, when they first met me, they were kind of avoidant until I opened my mouth. And I've literally had hundreds of people look at me and go, as soon as I open my mouth, like look at me with hesitance, and then I open my mouth and go, wait, you're an attractive female cat girl who's not a complete slut or moron. That's possible? Like, I've had hundreds of people tell me that, and I'm just like, what? Yes. What?
But you're saying that you've been judged by how you dress, and, you know, because you're a self-proclaimed furry, that you're a cat girl, that's how you live your life. And yeah, the question is, why would people like just take one look at you and judge you because you dress differently, or because, you know, you say that's how you want to live your life? I mean, you're not hurting anybody, you know, you're not like, I mean, unless you are interfering with somebody else's day, I don't think it should ever be a problem. That's just prejudice in general. That's, you know, that can go as far as people, you know, dressing in whatever alternative clothes or having even different color hair or whatever, and being judged by it, or even tattoos or piercings. But I think when you decide to dress differently and when you decide to, I guess, be a part of the norm, they're definitely, you know, like you said, it's really cool to sort of show people that you are like a valid, you know, part of society as well. You can, you know, be intelligent and be graceful and be polite to people and be helpful and still look different. Any other stories or comments or that you'd like to share? I see, yep, in the back of the hat.
As I said, I dress like this every day if I could, and every now and then I will take an excuse to wear a costume, but at the very least, I will always carry like a staff with me of some kind, and I've had people see that and think that I like had trouble walking, that I was blind. They just see the staff and they make assumptions about me. They don't think, oh, he has a staff because it looks cool. Mm-hmm. They assume that I've got a physical disability because I choose to carry a staff.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Any other?
Just like my friend, she was totally from Fruits Baskets, and it was more of a guy with no really boundaries, because she used to actually have, she had this beautiful, like, long red brown hair that was perfect. for it, and she looked absolutely gnarly. And then this guy went up to her and drew his hands through her hair because it was too soft, but his hand caught the end, so he yanked her head back and essentially pulled her hair. And it's thankfully I wasn't there because I would have made a ruckus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, personal boundaries. Who has had issues with personal boundaries? Oh my goodness. I can't stress it enough. I mean, as a basic etiquette of cosplaying, whether you're in a costume or you're not in a costume, respect people's personal boundaries. Don't glomp them unless you've asked for permission and been given a resounding yes. And don't just, if you're taking a picture with a cosplayer who may be in a little revealing outfit, don't just put your arm around her, ask her first. She might be comfortable with it, she might not be. People ask me for hugs a lot, and it's as long as you ask me first, and it's okay. But if I'm in a costume that has a lot of fragile pieces, I may not be able to hug you. I may decline to hug you. Don't take it personally. I just don't want my pieces to get broken. And it is very disrespectful to just, reach and touch somebody, grabbing their hair. That's to me, kind of very personal. Or people have tried to pick me up for a picture without asking me. I'm no, put me down. Don't even try it. And it's costume pieces can be broken through contact, because it's when we make things, we don't always know exactly how it's going to stand up to the weather, to the humidity, to the heat. It's things do happen, accidents happen, so please be respectful. Any other stories? Yeah?
I find that increasingly, for a while, it became that it was becoming how to be judged in cosplay. Because, granted, there are cosplay competitions where you're seeing who has best craftsmanship, but as a whole, that can become almost a permeating factor that someone may walk down the hall and go, oh, that's just craft to somebody, and they put just as much effort into it as somebody else.
But it might look simpler, on first glance, right? Yeah, absolutely. And I think presentation goes hand in hand with craftsmanship. Even, I can tell you as a craftsmanship judge that even in contests that are just craftsmanship based, we do look at how the person portrays the character, because sometimes the points can be so close together that how the person acts on stage will be the tiebreaker between the award or no award. So, I'm not saying you have to be in character all the time, and, that's something I do want to stress too, is, you don't have to be in character the entire time. You're allowed to still be an individual. You're allowed to be you. I'm in a Cheryl Nome costume, but I'm still Yaya. I'm not gonna just go around singing my heart out and, be a diva because that's, Cheryl is a superstar or whatever. I'm still gonna be me. And I think in everything that you do, there is definitely the healthy middle. You can have fun in your character. You can, if you want to be Elle, do what Elle does, and entertain people if you so like. But again, don't cross personal boundaries. Don't overdo it to the point where people can't have a normal conversation with you. If they're asking you, do you want something to drink? Don't answer them in Japanese or something because your character is Japanese. So I do think it just has to sort of have that common sense divide, of what's okay and what's maybe a little obnoxious. But by all means, have fun with your costumes and have fun being the character, because this is what it's all about. And I find when I'm wearing different costumes that it will make me feel differently. If I'm in an elegant evening dress, it will make me feel more ladylike and more elegant. Or if I'm in a punk rock outfit, it'll make me feel more playful. Or, and I think that's partially why cosplay is so much fun, because you can really tap into all these different sides of you through the character. Things that you might not, know that you could feel, you can feel when you're the character. which is why I think cosplay is really great for giving people confidence too. I mean, I don't know, raise a hands, who has felt they've gained confidence through cosplay? That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great confidence builder in your skills, in making friends, making you more outgoing and social with people, and starting up a conversation with people is sometimes a lot easier when you're in a costume. You know, you can make lasting friendships through it too. So it's definitely a lot of positives, but again, a lot of negatives too. I mean, how many of you have had like a falling out with a friend over cosplay? Do you want to tell us your story in the back?
It was like a falling out with a friend. Was like they didn't agree with binding, and I agreed with binding, and which I use compression shirts, and they think I shouldn't. And so it was like it was like something that was so petty that it completely like destroyed the friendship for no reason. So little petty things can even, yeah.
Or something as silly as bonding, right?
Yeah.
You lost your friendship. I definitely have had falling outs with friends too, and sometimes I think, you know, sometimes you don't get along with people because you do things differently, like you're just different people, and I think it's perfectly okay for people to not get along, but I also think something like cosplay can definitely sort of exacerbate things, and the reason for it is simply because we are putting all of ourselves out there. It's not just, like if you're an artist, you're just putting your art out there, you know, on the web, on wherever, at a convention, on the table, in a gallery. They see your art, they may judge you, criticize you, or praise you for your art. With costuming, you're putting your craftsmanship skills out there, your taste in fashion, your looks, you know, your face, your body, everything about you is out there to be judged. And, you know, people, especially on the internet, can be cruel. They can judge every part of you, and then when they run out of things to judge you and your costumes by, they'll judge you by your behavior, you know, or they'll even make up things about your behavior that, you know, at a convention or at some kind of an encounter. And it's always like made me really like thoughtful about like why does things like this happen. And so anybody want to share any stories about like, or any questions that you may have, how to handle things, any comments you may have about how to handle criticism, like especially on the internet, because you can't really always defend yourself against it. Okay?
When do you start ignoring it? When do you actually
Just stand up. Okay. I'm so sorry. I have a wig on. It's hard for me. I'm throwing microphones.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, when do you think it's time to ignore comments on the internet, and when is it time to say, okay, what would you like me to change?
Okay, she asked when is a good time to ignore a comment and when is a good time to take criticism and ask for, oh my gosh, well, it is my experience in 11 years of dressing up that 99.9% of the time, ignoring a comment and deleting it is the only sane way to handle it. It truly is, no matter how much you want to say something, no matter like, they may criticize a part of you on a costume that they just didn't even see. Like they may say, you didn't have the jewel on this part of your shoe, but you do. It's just, you can't see it in that picture. And you want to say, but I do have it. Just don't even bother, don't even bother trying to argue with them, because when somebody has something negative to say about you, most likely they've already made up their mind about the negativity and they're not going to be persuaded. And if you say, actually I do have the jewel on my shoe, then they'll just find something else to criticize, because they're like, oh well, I don't want to look embarrassed in front of the internet, you know, I want to be able to still like stand my ground and look like I have something over you. And the thing is that people criticize because they either can't do what you did, they can't make the costume you did, or they think they can make it better than you, which truly, it's none of their business if they can make it better than you. If they want to make it better, let them make it better. Don't come tell you that, oh, my costume is so much better than you. It's like, that doesn't help anybody. I think you had a comment. I'll let you.
Just walking, at someone, just look at my boots and like, you don't have the right stitches on your boots.
I made these boots, they were hard work. It's really hard to be a cobbler in cosplay, but to say that, I'm like, okay. All I said was okay, and I just walked along.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just, ignore it. Let it roll off your back. The most important thing that I can tell cosplayers is do not let a negative comment ruin your day. No matter what, don't let it affect you to the point that you can't have fun. That it makes you really upset, because that means they got to you. That means they reached, their goal of being able to affect you. And every time, just about, that I have tried to respond to a comment, because there was a misunderstanding or they misread my description of how I made my costume, and they made an allegation that I thought was false, it never resolved in a good manner. It always got worse. They always got worse and more aggressive. So that's why from now, I don't respond to comments anymore. However, it doesn't mean that you cannot give constructive criticism. You can absolutely give someone constructive criticism, but you have to do it in a manner that will actually be helpful. You can say, your dress looks really great, but in your description you said you had some difficulty with the patterning. If you make a dress like this next time, try using this pattern, because it worked for me. Or I know that pattern will do what you wanted to do. Actually have a helpful suggestion attached to the criticism. Don't make it just, well, I wish, you had done this better. It's like, and if you don't know the circumstance, I've been criticized for my skin tone, not matching my costume in a photo shoot. I'm like, I know I should have been paler, yeah, but the day before I was doing this other costume where I needed to be tan, and I'm not gonna freaking go paint myself tan for 3 hours of dressing up just so I can be pale the next day. It's like, it's great if you go the extra step and make yourself pale with makeup, but if you have a busy day ahead of you, like today, I'm gonna be here I was here from noon, and I'm gonna be working straight through 5 o'clock. There's no time to tan myself up in the morning or something. And you don't know the circumstances that the person was in. You don't know if they felt bad in the morning, they didn't have time to do what they ultimately wanted to do. So just assuming and criticizing them for a picture they posted on the internet, it just seems really unnecessary to me. Really losing my voice here. Somebody else talk. Somebody else share a comment. Come on. Okay.
One thing for me is I think it's interesting that people have different opinions on cosplay outside of conventions. I know for me personally, I don't usually cosplay outside of conventions. There are items I use in everyday wear. I wear this headband. It's my favorite headband, and I wear it all the time. I wear this necklace sometimes. I can't see them, but I have on gold sandals. And I think it's interesting because people say they'll wear their cosplay to the mall or just out and about. And I've seen really different opinions on that. For me personally, I keep my cosplays at conventions with people who I know will appreciate it more, who will understand and maybe some of the labor that went into it. I usually don't wear my cosplays out unless it's
for a photo shoot, right?
Yeah, for a photo shoot or a cosplay. So I know people have a lot of things saying, hey, I can go to the mall in my cosplay, and cosplayers' money is still money.
Right. Okay, that's a great topic. That's an interesting topic.
So for me personally, I don't do it because I feel like I don't know, it's more of a special thing for me inside the convention where people can actually appreciate what you're doing.
Right, like you feel like it's the convention is the appropriate venue to dress up in costume. What do some of you feel like? Do some of you also feel that you should only dress up at a convention, or some of you, do go to the mall in your own costumes and, yes?
I think it kind of depends on what kind of costume it is. Like, personally, I wouldn't wear what you're wearing to college.
I would not want to wear what I'm wearing anywhere but a convention either. I mean, this hat is ridiculous.
I was at college and I saw like Matt Dunn and
Right.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it depends on like how well costumed
Right. You're talking like more casual costumes, maybe more, can be worn out more without like attracting too much like what looks. Yeah. Well, there obviously is a practical aspect to this. I'm wearing contacts and wig and this hat, and I'm just like, I can't hardly see, so I'm not gonna go to like a movie in this because I won't be able to see the screen. So it's like, yeah, comfort is definitely a big important factor. For me, honestly, some of my costumes, I just think they're too valuable to me to wear them out because I'm like already afraid of spilling things on them or, breaking things or ripping things. So it's like I want to try to keep my costumes as pristine as possible. So when I do have a convention to go to or a photo shoot, I want to make sure it looks good because like I made it. So if I break it, then that just makes me sad. But I know that some of you do dress up on everyday occasions, but do you feel like, those of you who dress up, like do you feel like you do sort of like try to be fairly casual, like, or do any of you actually wear like a giant costume ball gown to the mall or something? I don't think there are very many. You do?
I do.
You Yasha does? Okay. All right, yeah, the cat girl, why don't you share?
Actually, I do. I have giant hoop skirts that I've worn on campus. My campus is full of stairs on a giant hill, and so I won't wear like heels all day, but I'll wear pretty much anything.
Yeah.
And I've had in the middle of class, I've had to look at someone and go, "Could you loosen my corset, please, so I don't pass out?"
I can vouch for that.
He just had to do it. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. Like, you get a lot of people who are just like, I think the best part of it is, even with all the people who will look at me and go, there's so many people who just see my outfits and just their faces light up. They're just so happy to see that. They're like, wow, that brightens my day. And I'm just like, you're welcome.
Well, that's great. I think you have a good attitude for, doing what you're doing. And yeah, in moderation, as long as you're not like getting on other people's, not really even nerves, but as long as you're not interfering with another person's, day-to-day activities, I think it's perfectly okay. Yes. You, yes, with your hand up. Wait, there are two of you now. I meant the girl behind, like by the window, but I'll take you next. Is that okay?
Thanks for wearing the cosplay stuff at like normal places. At school, like the last week of school before Christmas break, my friend dressed up like an elf, and she had like the ears and the hat and like full out costume. But like, I thought that was really cool. Like, it was just for a day. It was just because it was like Christmassy and it was kind of cosplay-ish. But I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just maybe a once in a while type thing. Okay.
I would say I came from a really small high school, and even wearing like an anime t-shirt, you got the look that was like, oh dear lord, you still watch cartoons. But now I'm at a bigger university, and I wore one of my old anime t-shirts for a workout shirt, and I had about 5 people come up to me in the gym and go, I love that series! And it's just like, it depends on where you are and what the climate is. It's amazing how much it'll change, even within like the same city.
Yes, great comment. Depends on where you are. Definitely. All right, one last comment before we move on. Is that okay? We only have an hour here. So I think I saw you first, Kitty Girl.
Well, mostly, in
your tail stuff.
It depends for me, like what outfit. Like I would not wear this to college, but one time I ended up for a psychology project. I dressed up as Haku from Naruto, and I just wrote down like the looks that people gave me, just like.
That's awesome. You made it into a project.
Yes,
That's great.
And I actually have one person run up to me like, "Can I have your picture?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm at a small college, so there's very few people that are actually into anime that will go up and be like, "Oh, awesome!" So it made my day that they actually did that.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, let's move on. There's so many topics to cover. Like sometimes I ask for 2 hours for this panel because 1 hour just doesn't cut it. I don't even know what time it is. Keep an eye on time. There were some topics. Okay. There were some topics I wanted to cover because I think they're very important. And one of them is revealing costumes, and then the other one is cross-dressing. So, okay. These seem very excited. Let's do cross-dressing first. They seem very excited about it over there. Okay, crossplay. What's up with the double standard? Why is it okay for girls to dress up as boys, everyday law, you know, whatever, and then for a boy to dress up as a girl, everybody's like, there's like that oh moment. I mean, why do you think there is this double standard? Have you been a cosplayer? What are your experiences? You're first.
I have not cosplayed myself, but from what I've observed, it's a factor of that most men's costumes look like they could also fit on a woman, whereas a woman's cosplay is distinctively looks like it belongs on a woman.
Right, and yes, I wanted to say that I've been an artist, like in manga art, like drawing manga and anime style for a long time, and for many, many years in school, people are like, why are you drawing all these women kissing? I'm like, it's a man and a woman. And so it's like anime characters, manga characters, they look very androgynous, don't they? You know, a lot of the Bishonen, the pretty boys, they do look like women, and I think some of the characters, they could actually be pulled off by a woman better than a man. Like, do you guys know Pikmin Link and her Link costume? I mean, she looks so dead on as Link that, you know, it's like, I think there are having really great male Links too, but to me, when I look at Link, I think of Liz as Pikmin Link, you know? And I think that comes actually from the Japanese aesthetics. I just wanted to quickly add that the Japanese, their aesthetics from hundreds of years ago has always been to be as beautiful as a woman. Like they'll write, you know, they have paintings of men, and they have poems about, you know, great warriors or king, you know, emperors, and they would describe them as he was as beautiful as a woman. And so I think that sort of aesthetic has sort of passed down through time and, you know, sort of permeated anime, and really, yeah, the men, they do look very feminine. So, but any other comments or stories before I just talk? Okay, you know Yasha, come on.
Funniest story, I crossplay Yoruichi a bit because I'm pretty tan.
Who did you cosplay? Sorry, it's hard
Yoruichi.
Okay, Yoruichi.
Yeah,
nice.
And I'm in the military. Does not go well when that picture gets posted on Facebook.
Posted on Facebook?
No, someone posted it and tagged
me. And tagged you? Oh, that friend needs to
And I'll tell you what, when you get
that friend needs to be punished. That's just wrong.
But don't ask no until it got repealed, so it's not a problem anymore.
Were you at least convincing?
Oh, it was hilarious. There was like two 16-year-old boys that started hitting on me. My wife is standing next to me cosplaying Urahara because she looks like a guy in Urahara. She can pull it off. And he was hitting on me hardcore. And I'm like, I'm a dude. I waited for like an hour. It was pretty flattering. Women get a lot of compliments. Don't take that crap for granted. We don't get that. It doesn't happen.
That's great. I think that's great. I mean, I think honestly, if you've been a cosplayer, if you get hit on, that's like the best, you know, best validation of a job well done that you can have. Yes.
People are back to similar to his comment is that gasp when you see a guy dressed as a female is because a lot of times they look better than if a female were dressed in that, and they pull it off really well, or they have effeminate looks and can really pull off that, and you go, that's really awesome. He looks really good in that costume.
Awesome. Yes. Yes, you.
But on the other side of that, on the other side of that, a lot of the reason why it gets gas is because, I don't know, it seems like most of the time when we are cross-playing, it's done for laughs.
For laughs.
So,
Man-fade? Man-fade.
Or, you know, being a scout and leaving your legs hairy, not shaving, stuff that's so less, I don't know.
Well, I know. I mean, some people do find that really funny. I mean, that's...
And so, but usually for girls, just not necessarily trying to be funny, they're trying to be characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, you in the back?
I have to say, there was a really good guy cosplayer last year. He was dressed as Yuna, I believe, and we went up to him and we swear it was a girl. Because we're like, oh, can we take our picture? And he's like, sure. And we're like, oh, okay. And we were all like, that's a dude. Yeah, it was really good. We were convinced it was a girl. It was
That's
really
awesome.
good.
All right. God, so many comments. Okay, I can't take two anymore. I definitely want to hear for the Dr. Girlfriend, since he is representing.
All right, well, part of the reason that I had an issue cross-playing in the first place and getting full on was the danger of crossing too far into Uncanny Valley, so far that you can't pull it off as a joke anymore, if you understand what I'm saying there. So that might be why you see a lot of, Man, Faye, Sailor Bubba. They might want to wear the clothes, but they don't want people to think that they're doing it because they want to.
Very nice. Wow, that's like psychology.
Sociology, maybe?
Oh my gosh, I can't take all of you because we don't have that much time. I'll take one more. Somebody just stand up and talk. Oh, okay.
I think that the big thing that's being overlooked is that society as a whole has the double standard. Girls can dress in any guy's clothes, and if someone tells them no, then there's shame on them. But if a guy decides to wear a skirt in everyday life, the society as a whole goes, gasp! So it's not just not cosplay. It's not just cosplay. It's everywhere in society, and it just permeates through.
It is absolutely everywhere in society, and because we can't change, we can't change how society has been thinking. The only thing we can do is just move forward, and if we're open-minded enough, maybe the generation after us will be more open-minded. I think it's perfectly okay for anybody to dress however they want to. I think as a guy, if you want to do crossplay, and you want to do it more for more than a joke, put some effort into it. Really get in there with the makeup and get in there with the hose and shave your legs and maybe do a little bit of corseting to shape you a little bit and have somebody help you with the makeup and the hair and just have fun with it, because it is cross-dressing in itself is quite an art form, and some of the best makeup and hairstylists are drag queens. Half of what we girls learn about makeup basically came from them doing stage makeup and over-exaggerating. So it's just you have to try to be open-minded, and if you want to go for something, do it right. Wow them. Have the guys hit on you. All right, awesome. Well, I did want to talk about skimpy costumes because I think it's a very important issue in cosplay. And wow, somebody's already, you already have your hand up. I haven't even introduced the issue. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say for all the girls in the little short shorts, just make sure the undies match.
Very good tip. Yes, matching undies, and maybe spankies if you're a little worried about undies. There's always such a thing should you wear a thong if you're wearing a mini skirt? Maybe if you're brave enough. Well, the first thing I wanted to say about revealing costume is that we are in a fandom where most characters, females, are created by perverted Japanese men. Let's just be honest, that's what it is. They're perverted, introverted, shy Japanese men that have to live out their fantasies through their artwork. And that's just the truth. So already, with all the video games and all the anime, you are dealing with the bouncy boobs, and you are dealing with the little bikini outfits and cutouts and the spandex, and you know, it's like, so oftentimes a girl will pick a character to cosplay, and she has no choice but to go a little bit risque, because that character may be the most badass character in the world and, you know, kill zombies and whatever, but she's wearing a bikini, so what are you gonna do? And so I think there are definitely like some things that you can do. Like, I think it's perfectly okay for a girl to make her costume more modest than the design. When I did Felicia from Darkstalkers, I just wore a bra instead of doing the little strip of fur, and I was just like, no way, I'm just not gonna do it, you know. But it's like, even if you're not perfectly accurate, if you make the outfit overall look very like proportionate to you and make it look flattering, then, you know, people are not gonna really care that much about like that one part of imperfection. And if you don't want, you know, whatever the cutout to be as big, that's totally fine. Or if you want to put a flesh tone panel, I mean, there are things that you can do to sort of fake it. So don't worry about the accuracy of an outfit if you can't absolutely have every single part perfect. You know, just be aware of your modesty level and know that if you decide to wear this, you will be in public, you will be looked at from every angle, there will be shots of your butt, you know? It's just like, so every time I do a revealing costume, I just have to like mentally prepare myself, but I also have to sort of know how I'm gonna act. And as a rule, the less clothes I'm wearing, the more classy I try to act. You know, I don't just bend over, I actually do, you know, like I don't even know what that's called, like when I have to pick something up, I do this instead of just bending over. And I think like as a girl, you'll learn like that it depends all on your attitude, how you act, how you move, and I guess how well taped your costume is, you know, like make sure it's taped in place, please. Any comments or stories that people would like to share about revealing costumes, concerns, questions?
I should say to the news, women like to be looked at, but we don't like to be stared at. If you're following us down the hall with your eyes, that's
Okay, she said it's creepy if you stare at women. It's okay to be looked at, to look at women. And you know, that's the thing. It's like I think some people, especially actually at Dragon Con, they sort of forget that there are those boundaries, and Dragon Con is sort of becoming increasingly like a place where a girl has to be afraid to walk around in a cute outfit by herself, and I think that's really sad. So okay, yes?
For the sake of speaking of modesty from somebody who has been to many a con, it is a wide age range that will be at a con. You may have young people, you may have parents who have brought their kids that they are raising with anime. If you are to wear something skimpy, much like you said, is to portray yourself with a level of class. We have had incidences with certain cosplayers where we were in an elevator and the entire elevator was flashed by somebody at a con. Thankfully, there was no one underage in said elevator, but had there been, you know, which of course that had to be handled later, so that level of proper modesty and etiquette, and don't break the law.
Does apply, yeah. Absolutely. Yes?
speak up a little bit. There was a woman wearing, it was exactly, she wasn't really wearing anything, it was like a really small bra and G-string, and then she was wearing chains over that.
Right,
and then
right, so chain
most of the men would follow her, and she actually acted like she liked it, and then she started to
Okay, yeah. That's, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I can't, like, we can't dictate how people act. Like, I think with any unpleasant situation, uncomfortable situation, if you're not comfortable with what somebody is doing, just walk away from it. You know, don't look at them. If they're too skimpy, like, you don't have to look at them, turn the other way. Conventions do have rules about what you're allowed to wear. Some cons say you can wear like something like a bikini top, but you can't wear just like pasties or something. So they, you know, conventions do, like, and if somebody is within the convention rules, but you still you feel like it's still too much for you, then I would say the best thing is just not to look at them. And then for the people who do want to dress up in skimpy outfits, definitely remember the effect that you will have on everybody. And just, I think there definitely needs to be like an age-appropriate, you know, dressing code. I've very sadly seen underage girls dress in, you know, little more than body paint at DragonCon, and it's a little disturbing. It's like, you know, you're 16. Like, you maybe should wait at least till you're 18 to do this. But to each their own, and you know, it's like, I can't tell parents how they should raise their children. If anything, like, we each need to try to influence the people around us and our families and our friends, you know, to act appropriately. But be open-minded. Like, don't judge somebody if they're in a skimpy outfit. They might have done it, you know, because they like the character. They might have done it just for the attention. You don't know that. Depends on how they act. This sucks. Any other comments or questions? Yes, in the back, in blonde.
And I would be crazy to do like her regular form, because like the top is like
right,
and the bottom is like so it's not good. So what I did is, like, you put a black thing here, so it's like black, and then the top starts here. Okay. I think if you, and then put like leggings on here, so it's not like
right. So you did like a modesty panel, like
yeah. So I think if you like make it modest, but you make it look nice,
and the rest is decent quality. It's not like it's falling off. So
yeah, so you'll be good. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, one last comment, and then we have 10 minutes left. So yes. Yeah.
Like, I feel like way smaller.
Yeah, smaller opening. Yeah.
Like, I feel like kind of whatever. Covered up or whatnot.
Yes.
Like, if it is a little opening, t-shirt or even the costume's not perfect, not open, that's perfection. I've had people comment like, oh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree completely. Definitely. All right, we have 10 minutes left. Time for probably one last topic. What would you guys like to talk about? Last topic about etiquette, social interactions, cosplay in general. Share fun con stories, whatever you'd like. Yes, I see a hand. Feel free to stand up and speak up so the room can hear you. Thank you. I don't know, maybe the door needs to be closed.
This has happened to me right now. I read this story on the internet where this person, she had been cosplaying Kyrie, and so some person like stabbed her like in the leg with a pencil or something.
Wait, somebody stabbed her
with like a pencil or something.
With a pencil after something on the internet?
No, like I read the story online. It was
you
girl,
read it online.
Cosplaying Kyrie. And so somebody like stabbed her with a pencil or something because she got in the way of Riku and Sora's love and stuff.
That's very unfortunate. I'm partially surprised nothing horribly violent has happened at a convention yet. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm sure there have been instances. I've heard, you know, stories. The guy who got shanked at Comic-Con, but he wasn't a cosplayer. He was just a was it a Harry Potter fan or somebody like really obsessed? Yes, and then this person it was over a seat, I remember. Yeah, somebody was fighting over a seat at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, and like stabbed somebody in the face with either a pen or some kind of a sharp object, and yeah. But I mean, I think for the most part we've been really lucky so far. Conventions that, you know, nothing horrible, like too horrible has happened, or hopefully it won't. Oh, yes, 10 minutes? Yes, okay, that's fine. Thank you, got it. I think everybody just needs to be careful how they conduct themselves and sort of not lose sense of reality, if you know what I mean. It's like, it is like playtime, definitely is playtime, and it's time for fun and, you know, to be with your friends and to pretend, but I hope people don't go as far as losing reality and think they're allowed to do certain things that they shouldn't just because their character has the power or something. Yes?
Like, because some people will be like, oh, this is awesome, and then they like grab it, and it's like, I just spent months on that, so be delicate with things that look like they took a long time to make.
Definitely, yes, very good etiquette. Any other etiquette suggestions or tips, or, you know, anything you'd like people to, yes?
On the note of double standards and judging people how they look, just because someone is dressed skimpy, and just because, like it has been said, some girls do like that attention and do it on purpose, doesn't mean that everyone who dresses skimpy is into that. And also, some people might dress skimpy and act more flirtatious or whatever, and not quite as dignified as you were saying. But that also doesn't mean that when they're out of costume, they're gonna be the same way. Some people will be like, oh, well, I'm in costume, so I'm just playing and having fun. And some people are like, want the attention, but it doesn't mean people, you know.
I generally try to go to conventions and cosplay by thinking, like, keeping common sense in mind, and just by thinking what's appropriate. Like, some conventions I will not wear a skimpy costume to. Like, I will make a skimpy costume and wear it only to either like a really big convention where, you know, I know there are a lot of people around, and, you know, like, people won't just like be looking at me the whole time. They have lots of choices to look at, or a convention that's more adult oriented, like Dragon Con, you know, where the audience is much older. But yeah, for small cons, I think you should think about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, you know, but it's all in your comfort level. It's like, what are you comfortable wearing? What are you comfortable with people looking at you? Are you comfortable with them judging you the way you look? Are you comfortable with these pictures being posted on the internet for, you know, eternity after, basically? Because anything that's on the internet is there forever. So, like, think about all these factors and make sure you can live with yourself with whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're wearing, and just know the pictures are going to be there forever. And, you know, it's like, if you are totally comfortable and cool with it, then go for it. Don't worry about what people are going to say. So, all right, one last comment.
On that note of being careful of what you have on the internet, I am an early childhood education major, and so when I choose my cosplays, I am very careful thinking about, okay, you know, because now, you know, people, you know, principals and administrators, they will look at your Facebook to, you know, judge your character and look at your pictures. So for me personally, I have to be very careful about what cosplays I'm choosing. I have to think, okay, if I am in a picture and I am tagged on Facebook, or it's put up where it's easy for the public to access, you know, how is that going to reflect on when I'm looking for a job in a year and a half? But I think even though you might be on, like, you know, 16 or, you know, or even 18, or you're just starting out college, so trying to figure out what you're going to do, I say you know, use some discretion and think, how long am I going to be able to do cosplay before I have to really launch my career? And so just a thing of warning is, you know, if you have a certain career in mind, that, you know, where a picture, you know, of you in a skimpier cosplay could you know, be the...
Could be misjudged, maybe?
Misjudged, you know. So just to keep that in mind on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. So, unless anybody else has anything to add, I think it's a good time to stop. Okay, somebody has something to add over there?
I kind of want to return to the being delicate glomping.
Yeah.
It destroys costumes.
Yes, we covered it earlier where we're like, don't glomp until somebody specifically says it's okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Well, thank you all so very much for coming. I hope that it was an entertaining panel. Hope that you maybe learned something.